coming up out of Texas Tech, Tyree Wilson was the cat's pajamas. I mean, the guy had it all. You're talking about length, size, speed, bend, athleticism, all of it, right? And he came out or when he was coming out rather, he was getting comparisons to Ziggy Ansah, some of those other long-limbed defenders that were first-round draft picks that I'm blanking off the top of my head. But overall, Tyree Wilson was that dude coming out. And there's a reason he went 7th overall to the Las Vegas Raiders in the 2023 NFL Draft. But I also feel like there's something we're missing here, and I think it's the fact that, and there's a couple different reasons as to why I think he's going to explode in year 2, because let's face it, let's be honest, his production in year 1 wasn't great. 3.5 sacks, 29 tackles, no starts really, and it kind of was one of those things where, he really turned it on at the second part of the season though. And so, I think that obviously with coaching, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change with Tyree Wilson, specifically how he grows and develops and all that stuff. So I think in year 2, there's a lot of reasons that I think he will break out and be an absolute stud for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's going to be that yin to Max Crosby's yang, even though they have Malcolm Kuntz on the roster already, who really showed out last year. He had 8 sacks. I think Tyree Wilson is going to ball out and show out in year 2. And here are, this is a professional podcast, but yet some of my stuff is going down here. But here are 5 reasons as to why that Tyree Wilson will explode. Number 1, we kind of covered it. Yes, he's young and developing. He was coming out and he had this long wingspan, long-limbed defender that was getting comparisons to Ziggy Ansah, like we said. And yes, he's still growing into his body. He just turned 24, and he is still going to continue to grow and develop into the player that he could be for the Raiders. And so we're talking about both in height, we're talking about in terms of putting on weight and still keeping his athleticism. So there's still a lot of room left to grow here for Tyree Wilson, and I think that that's something you have to consider. So yes, and also number 2, again, we touched on it, Max Crosby and the leadership. So you have one of the best defensive ends on your roster to help grow this young talent. And I think it's going to do him nothing but good, because you got somebody that Max Crosby isn't the most talented dude. His heart and hustle, it really is what makes him so special. And you pair that with a guy that has all the talent and you teach him heart and hustle, oh God, this could be an absolute lethal defensive end core for a very long time for the Raiders. And you throw Christian Wilkins in the middle of it all, that's just straight up nasty. And plus Antonio Pierce, I think that this locker room is full of leaders that can develop young talent. And so I think that is going to be a big time thing for him. And number 3 is, he's not forced to start. I know that's kind of one of those things where we want to see those first round draft picks on the field. Yes, I absolutely get it. But, Malcolm Kuntz came in and absolutely balled out. Last year he came in and now he's coming in a contract year where if he balls out this year, he may be looking at a very, very big free agent contract. And Tyree Wilson, that is probably as many reasons to get it, pick it up as any of them, because at the end of the day, if they can keep Malcolm Kuntz in-house and, the fact that this specific regime did not draft him, that should be a very, very big reason as to why you need to step it up and get things going here. So, yes, he wasn't forced to start, but the pressure's on, make no mistake. Number 4 is versatility. So you kind of saw Antonio Pierce and the rest of the coaching staff kind of experimenting with him and trying to see where they can put him on the inside and stuff. And I still think that has a place, because I think he is going to be able to play on the inside and the outside, specifically with his length and size. And so I think it's kind of a mismatch for guards too, specifically with how athletic he is. And so I think that he can play on the inside and the outside, can have some NASCAR packages where you get Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson, Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins on the field at the same time. Yikes. I feel bad for the opposing offensive line. Number 5, it's the same defense and coaching. So there is a lot to be said of players that just stay in the same systems and are able to develop and get to kind of know their roles with the team. And, Antonio Pierce and this defense, he really was a big reason as to why this defense took a big step forward last year. He really coached up this team. They really made a lot of plays for him, and I think that it's just going to continue. So Tyree Wilson staying in the same defense, knowing what his specific role is, being healthy, being and continuing to develop, I think that is another reason that it's going to really help him develop into the player that he could be. I think he could be an absolute star for the Raiders, and I think that he could definitely break out in year 2. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below. But let us know what you guys think overall about our 5 reasons why that Tyree Wilson will break out in year 2.